last week, not real, on Thursday. We didn't. Good job. Free tickets if you pay. Goodies today. What do we have today? 8:27. We have demos. Who has demos?
Not this time, unfortunately.
Nobody has demos. Who has topics?
Me.
Victoria. Interesting. What do you have today?
So today we are 1 week closer to our event. It's almost only 2 weeks that we will meet. And I want to mention that you can still buy your tickets to the Orchard Harvest Conference. And also mention to those who have already bought their tickets that I will send out an email to all of the participants about the food allergies. So we would like to be prepared if anyone has any allergies, because we will have a dinner together on the first night. So if you haven't bought your ticket, it's another reason that we will have a really fun dinner together. Yes, also the dietary restrictions as well.
Mike only eats meat, no vegetables. That's what I think. I don't know.
I think we can solve that.
Good. Thank you. So a few weeks to go. 2 weeks to go. 2 weeks to go. Cool.
Everybody,
yep.
Everybody from the speakers prepared already?
Prepared what?
Prepared for your talks.
I'm prepared to prepare.
I'm prepared for one of the talks out of 3.
Sure.
I'm also preparing these days for the host speech.
Okay. What else do we have? With status. Let's go with status. Now I should go here because I just sent a PR. And I was late because I was looking at other PRs and I forgot it was a meeting. So last time was 20. So I will check on the 20. Here. New contributor, but we saw that last week. Fix Json Merge object. Null values not to be overridden in some cases, or the opposite. Yeah. I think we saw that last week. I don't know when, but we saw that. So that's cool. So add permission check in edit WorkflowTrimmingDisplayDriver. WorkflowTrimmingDisplayDriver permission check. Looks good. Rename Twitter X, so it's back. Well, it's X Twitter. Or is it Twitter X? I'm confused now. X update X Twitter. X Twitter.
Yeah, it's a bit of a swing back. So previously we had everything in Twitter, then we had everything named X, but that broke a lot of existing stuff. And also made it harder to search for anything related to it. So now we have X Twitter.
Yeah, I was just I remember we did something. So it's just about display names here and strings. It's not technical stuff so far.
It's mostly display names, but there are also technical stuff. So, for example, the workflow activity now didn't change, because it has the same name as in 1.8. The shape template names didn't change. So pretty much this makes everything backwards compatible and more accessible.
Yeah, the class itself, I mean, what's the point of? Yeah, that was the point in changing that. So that's better. So, okay, cool. Do not include change password in the user menu if local login is disabled. Okay. So if we can change the password, then we show the link. If not, disable local login. Okay. Perf-importent notification index. Index. 2. So you don't want, is it a new migration because you don't want to update the people from one?
It's already on update from 1.
Oh, sorry. I missed that there was more at the bottom. Cool. Fix user menu text alignment. Interest. Math. Changes. Job. Fix invalid HTML. So that is invalid HTML. Ooh. Scary. Why is it invalid HTML? Okay, where are we? Option.
Yeah, I don't think you can have HTML inside the option.
Okay, that's the issue. That's not the translation issue. That's just you can't have
Yeah.
HTML inside an option. Interesting. Okay. That's weird though. I thought you could. Maybe it's just custom select using. No,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming that's the issue. It's kind of weird to put HTML inside the option. Sounds invalid to me, but let me look.
Yeah, it doesn't shock me. That's weird. But interesting. I would say 16607.
Yeah, it's invalid HTML, so you can't have HTML with an option.
Okay, that's the console log shows it to you. Okay. It's not maybe yeah, okay. Maybe it's working, but it's not valid. It just happens to work sometimes. So, okay.
It's possibly that's working in some browsers and some other browsers, kind of showing some funky characters.
Yeah. Okay, good. Then JDocs update typo due to the following errors. into the following rows. Okay.
And I updated the localization, the translations.
The repository.
Yeah.
Cool. Check that.
So people can contribute on crowdin.com if they want to translate the strings for the.
I haven't seen any notification about crowding people joining the repository in a while. Do you still receive them, or did that just stop?
I do.
Okay, good. That's
this week, 2 or 3 people have been added as translators. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So that just must be me who stopped listening to these things. Okay. Base document index to allow indexing non-content items in AzureAI search. We trust like this one. So you can index stuff that is not content item. AddNavigationProvider extension. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the extension methods when they just do one thing. Because you're calling one thing to hide one thing.
Yeah, it's just more readable. That's what it is that sometimes, like, you know, how do I register the navigation? Should it be singleton? Should it be transient? Should it be scope? So just gonna, you know, like sometimes I forget and I have to look it up. Like, okay, I had to think about it. But in this case, you don't think about it.
When you find an example, then you're like, okay, that's it. Here now you find
yeah,
an example,
but you don't want to go look for it, right? It just makes it easier, I think. You don't have to think about it. You can just do it, but it doesn't add a whole lot of value.
I agree with the you just have to look for it, or you don't have to look for it. Either way, when you want to add a navigation provider, you will have to find how to do it. Whatever the mean is, you will have to know or find how to do it. Once you find it, it's either you found this line before or you found this line. Either way, you would just copy paste whatever it does. Either in the documentation, either in the code, this is that thing.
Even in our code, I found some discrepancy. Sometimes it's register scoped and sometimes transient.
That's interesting. That's interesting then. So yeah, to make it more consistent, yes, definitely the extension method is better to ensure it's done correctly. And then I'd like to know, maybe it was a bug then that it was registered as singleton or not singleton, depending on what we need. That's really interesting. Maybe they are all resolved as from scoped dependencies, and the fact that they were singleton was fine. That's why they was registered as singleton. Maybe there was a reason.
No, it was transient. Some were transient and some were scoped.
Yeah, then that's fine.
They both would, work, but you know, should be scoped because you could call that multiple times in the same request.
Yeah, but at the same time, you might say sometimes it's better, to be transient also, no? If you don't need any scope. Because it will be called once, and I don't know. What's the advantage with transient? Isn't there an advantage to say it transient when you can? Maybe.
It's cheaper to register transient than it is scope, but
even fine. Why is that? One transient. So you see there was one.
That was it was just one.
Yeah, my personal view on that one, and I'm not everyone, I'm just the one talking here, is that I don't know what's happening now behind that. I will have to look at the code, and that seemed obvious to me. Like, okay, navigation provider, I mean, now does it have to be scoped? Does it have to be transient? Does it have to be singleton? For sure, it's not described here. It's just, okay, so this one is scoped, so let's register it as scoped. And, I don't know.
Do you care?
Yes, we care about from the client. Maybe they have to be singleton. Maybe, you know, or maybe they can't be singleton. Well, usually they have to be singleton. They can't be singleton. But sometimes they have to be singleton because it's resolved from a singleton dependency. So in this case, you would have to. But it's not here. It's scoped, which means you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, but there shouldn't be any case where an navigation provider should be anything else than scoped.
True. The only one that was discrepancy was different was this one, transient. And that was still fine because it means they were resolved as scoped from the scope dependency. So transient was working fine before. Yep. So we have those exception methods also for things that require 2 or 3 items or well types or registrations. Yeah. So it's just to be careful that we don't start doing that for every single dependency that we had another extension method just to say what it does. It should have necessary. That just wanted to prevent to add a lot of code that is very specific to our churn, and that makes more concepts to them just because of that.
Check out the next commits then.
What?
Check out the next commits then, because those do exactly that. I mean, they add similar extensions.
I see. I see. Okay. This one, it's user registration. Username is null or empty. Okay. So if this can be null or empty, let's check. Okay, so Zoltan said, got the next one. So here.
See, when you register it before, AddSite can be part of the system component, and then it could be part of Orchard. So if you include the wrong namespace, then you'll get an error until you figure out, oh, I just included the wrong namespace. So with this extension, it kind of makes it a bit easier. But since you're not a big fan, I'm guessing you're not going to be happy with my answer.
I'm not a big fan. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it worked before. And if it fails at building, then people have to realize, oh, it's not the correct AddSite. Yeah. Because I assume there is a restriction on AddDisplayDriver to say maybe on the type of that thing, so it will fail the build. But yeah, if you say it's failing the build, then I don't see it. Yep, I'm not a fan of these things. So I try to keep them like light, just for the ones that actually require them. And you see, then we have the add scoped, and then, oh, we have this one. That's not the same thing. We have a custom one. So people will be like, is there a custom one for this one? So let's look for one. Is there a custom one for this one? Let's look.
And they will find one.
Probably. And then this one, yeah, that. So we have no, and then that means that we have to provide one for every single of them. Every time we have a custom registration.
No, it's the common ones, the ones that we use all the time, like those you know, the AddSiteDisplayDriver, this one is used almost everywhere. The AddNavigationProvider is almost used everywhere. Same thing with PermissionProvider. Those are, it's just used so much.
Yeah, but that's the precedent. And then imagine you have 50 things like this and we do the 10 first. There is always an 11th one. And people will say, why not the 11th then? And then becomes the first, right? And then the next one becomes the first again. Why not this one? This is the most used one. Yeah, because we removed the previous one. So it's just, but if you put a precedent, then there is no reason to not accept any others. So this one is accepted, and then what is this one? Permissions. You see, it was so simple. AddPermissionProvider, and now it's AddPermissionProvider. Doing the same thing, so you can still do that, but it's not anymore for the special cases. Now it's for the common case. So that's a precedent. The ones you created before, they were like, okay, we need 2 types, 3 types, but they are not that easy now. Like at least this one, yeah, this one is a custom one. So you need to know that it is AddDisplayDriver of AddSite, maybe. Or the ones you created, you had to provide 2, like AddSite and the type and something else, like the driver, you need the menu, you need the whatever, the permissions, and this is okay, this is the component you need to register. Now this is, oh, it's just this instance for this interface. Yeah. That's why then you could do that for anything. Like I'm sure now checking the commit list, and I'm looking for, is there one where I need to call configuration option security settings and these things? Like, will there be one? Why not? Because there is add permission. So will there be the, what does it mean? I don't know, but yeah, that's my concern. Just to say that thing, which does not seem hard to guess, harder to guess than this one. Yeah, the advantage being the lifetime is set in stone. This is how it has to be registered. Sure. But the day you really want a singleton, then maybe actually you will think, can't I register a singleton? Because I actually need a singleton. Might require to have a singleton. Or you will be like, oh, I need to create another service to host the singleton state, so I can register this one as a scoped, which will inject my singleton state, because I see it's scoped here, so I can't register something else than scoped. Yeah, that's the concerns. Yeah, fine. Register. So this one I saw actually earlier. Shared view compiler provider running production mode, as it may cause hot reload to fail in development mode. So we saw some issues with the hot reload. If that fixes it, fine. So the idea is that we were checking for some ref folders, ref files, to detect that we had or could not register this shared view compiler provider. Now it's just using the development mode. Independently of that, or also so it has to be production, because hot reload is just in development and that won't be compatible with this one, shared view compiler provider. From my non-working memory, this one was created when we realized that in multi-tenancy, we were building and instantiating different types even of views cross tenants, and we had to create a custom view compiler provider than the one from MVC, because it was not compatible with the way we wanted to share all these view types and view instances. across tenants, because when you have a view across tenants, it's the same that you can remove. So that's the idea. So it's definitely possible that it's not working with source reload, which has to create a new view type and compilation, and probably we are caching it too aggressively, and in development it will not work. So good catch apparently. If that fixes it, that's cool. And new contributor. I should for this PR. Yep. This is a PR created, so nothing interesting here. No questions, no comments. Should we look at pull request to 0 status? Anything interesting?
Maybe we should look at that if you're good with it, the second PR, if you wanna the case insensitive, because that one is 2.0. And I think it's ready, but
this one is interesting because when we talked about it last week, we were wondering what broke, and actually there was a link to the Lombiq PR, and I saw that it was just changing some file system stuff. I was confused. So I thought it was for all the templates, but it's actually just for the admin templates. Admin templates and or just the templates from the features like custom templates in the admin, in the dashboard. And no, it's not for all the templates, just for this one. So case sensitivity, and then so the PR says that it's just a dictionary of templates that is loaded, and it's not the dictionary is not case insensitive, so it will only find the entry if the name actually matches. So that's good. Yeah, if we look at this link, this is the document for the templates, and so it's a dictionary of string, which is ordinal in our case. But when we deserialize this document, then system text JSON will create a new dictionary that won't have this property. Yeah, it will just be the default one, which will be case sensitive. This is why it doesn't work, and this is why the move to system text JSON broke that feature. So the solution here in this PR is to create a custom attribute. Like this, I won't show this command because it's confusing me. A new custom attribute like this one, case insensitive dictionary converter, and the type such that system text JSON won't use the dictionary that we pass here, but it will, well, it wasn't there before, but now it will create one that will be ordinal in our case for the key or for the comparison. And all the properties that were doing that now will have these attributes. So it's possible that actually this bug was also happening in other things we didn't realize yet. That might, or we didn't realize because we didn't have any example that were using different cases, but definitely other bugs around the same reason. So templates. This is structure code. That's good. Set items.
I don't think that set items is used anymore.
Okay, I don't know because I didn't see it, so I was about to.
Yeah,
it's not used anymore. Okay, cool.
I don't think so because she had it because she had like it was setting it manually, but I don't think you need that anymore.
Okay. So there is a lot of change here. Template controller, but it's a controller solution for fixing other issues. Optimizing. Factoring doesn't seem to be different here. So I will show is just some refactoring. It's a different bug, so I won't focus on that. So that is good. My comment here was so when I understood the thing, I realized that we had this issue. I think, Mike, if you remember that we had an option to, in JSON options, JSON serializer options, to tell it when to not use the existing collection when it was present, or to use the existing collection. I'm not sure if it's because of the init or not, but there is a way to tell it, if you can, use the existing collection. And in this case, it will work.
Yeah, I say init is what made it work.
Okay, it's only for. Oh no, it's okay. Sorry, saying it's a nice find for your link. It's not answering that. It's not answering my comment. So yeah, you found the same thing, right? In this repository that has the same thing. Or didn't I understand correctly? Because yeah, it's doing the same thing. Let's say for string, yeah. So the custom one for sure, but it's even public. Is it even public? I'm not even sure it's public. It should not be public. Might be public. Oh, it's a task. No, that doesn't matter. JSON serialization options. Collection. Preferred object creation handling. Gets or set the preferred object creation handling for properties when deserializing JSON. And here the value is populate. That's probably what we need when set to populate. Replace a new instance will always be created when deserializing with field or property populate, attempt to populate, and the default probably is replace. Where do I find the default? Assume 0 is the default. It's an NM. So maybe we just need to set that to the correct value in the default options. Please talk if you think I'm wrong. And I'm surprised we don't use that already. Seems familiar. Because first I thought about this option existed, so probably we saw that at some point. You see, we have that. So are we losing it at some point? Because we set it in the base. Our default is base and base. So we are not using these at some point. Oh, it makes sense. If we have a custom way to load these elements, let's see what was the controller that was using it. Or maybe it's in the shape table or whatever. So this is the post. So how do we use these things? because when I said we didn't find the bugs elsewhere, maybe there was the bug elsewhere. It was just this one that was loading incorrectly. So which one is the one that we want to fix here? Template something, template shade spiding. Okay. Template shade spiding resolver. Local templates, try get value, blah, blah, blah. This is the same thing. How do we load this thing? Local templates. Preview template provider. I'm not sure the point here. Load templates document async. That's the document manager, so that's probably already templates document. This is the one. Yeah, admin templates document and templates document, which is uppercase, which document manager of template document. Yeah, so that's surprising because we should debug that. At some point, we must be losing the fact that we have this option. Default.
And default inherits base. So you'll get all the properties from base.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Maybe it's not this one. Maybe it's a different one. Maybe it's not object creation ending. Maybe it's like dictionary or something. I don't know. The populate attempt to populate any instances already found on the visualized field or property. So that's another one. So very sure that's interesting. So it would be interesting to debug that to see when it is initialized and why it doesn't find the instance. Like what's the comparator sign to the dictionary and why? And we'll find the bug definitely. But it's supposed to work. Maybe it's just one of these dictionaries that is not using the default one, is using the custom initializer options, and then we missed it. Yeah, no, we passed the. I can't find anything more, but yeah, we pass the options. That's how it can be. Cool. Okay, so let's see. So we are waiting for this one. And I believe that's the only one to wait for. Yesterday, recipes. Is that POT? Yeah, the update. So when 2.0 is ready, that means we need to release this one first on crowding. So this one is already on crowding, correct? So we need to update the 2.0 branch with the crowding package just to check that everything is working. Stop missing packages or whatever. And then when it's done, we can ship, and we are ready to ship to 0. We can ship to 0 for translations, and then update or thread to 0 with this new package, and then publish to 0. Okay, but today we can already go into the 2.0 packages, well, the preview packages for the translation in the ready branch. What else?
That's the only thing for 2.0 now.
That's the one. Okay, that's good. Anyone wants to talk about something? Vincent, yeah, that's definitely blocking to 0. That's breaking temperature. We're good. Well, done then. See you on Thursday. The last triage meeting before 2.0.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
See you then.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Cheers.